Hello, early learners, and welcome back to the art room. It's Heart Art Week, and we are talking about artists that use hearts in their art. On Monday, we met Robert Indiana, who made that famous sculpture of the word love. And you know what? I wanted to tell you that I forgot that he also used the word hope in the same way. Instead of L, he had the H. The O was the same. Instead of V, he had a P. H-O-P-E, hope. And you know who used it in his campaign for presidency? Barack Obama. And he wanted everyone to be filled with hope for a change for the world and for the United States. So then we talked about James Goldcrown on Tuesday and learned about his love walls, the bleeding hearts. In the first one, we talked about how he did lots and lots of them on a brick wall. And then yesterday, we cut out hearts to look like a different bleeding heart art mural wall of James Goldcrown. But today is Romero Britto's day. And Romero Britto is such an important artist that I didn't know about, and he has such an interesting life, and he's still living today, that we're going to learn a lot about him while we look at the picture of him. But let's start out our day singing Hello, Nice to See You, everyone. Ready? Hello, nice to see you, everyone. Hello, nice to see you, everyone. Hello to you, hello to you, hello to you, hello to me. Hello, nice to see you, everyone. All right, the art that we're looking at today is called A New Day, and he did this art in 2010. And some of his art he did for people who had been sick. And this one woman got well, and he said, it's like a brand new day. And he did this art called A New Day, and it cheered her, and it made her know that she was going to be well and getting better and better every day. Let's look at the picture of Romero Britto and see what he looks like and see if he looks like someone you know. I know the cameraman here was looking at the people's hairdos, and he was thinking if he knew someone who looked like this. And here he is, Romero Britto. Let me tell you some things about him. He was born in 1963, and we know he's still living today. And he created a new expression. That means a saying. He made an expression that showed everyone that he was full of faith and happy. And he calls it the happy art movement. And we're going to be reading a book that he wrote about being happy. Now, he wanted to learn about the art from the past so that he could move forward on the art of the present of his life. So he went off to Europe after he was born in Brazil and lived with 8 brothers and sisters. Now, when he lived with 8 people, 8 other children in his family, they didn't have a lot of money. However, he had such creativity that it filled his life with color and images of a beautiful world. So like I said, he traveled to Europe to examine firsthand the art of the masters. And then after he went to a few galleries and a few shows and showed his work, he was encouraged to travel to the United States of America because he had heard about pop art being famous here. He moved to Miami and he set up a studio and he let the people come in. He let people come in and watch him do his art, and he spent the next few years showing his art and getting a lot of attention. And then he started exhibiting in galleries and museums over 100 countries. And then he was invited to be the first living artist to exhibit at this one famous museum. Now you can see art in the John F. Kennedy Airport in New York, the Cirque du Soleil at the Super Bowl. They used his art, and he's been credited with having a gigantic sculpture in Hyde Park in London. Now, he also did something really interesting. He started something and sits on this board called Best Buddies and St. Jude's Children's Research, and he is making sure that people have a feeling that the world is a happy and bright place to live in. So he keeps everyone optimistic. Now, let's take a look at his art. This is the art we're going to be inspired by today. And when I look at it, I think, what do I see first? Do I first see the hills and the patterns that he put on the hills? Do I see the sun that is sending up its bright rays? Do I see the sun rays around the sun filled with different colors? Do I see the one ray of sun that where he puts his initials in here? We'll do that we're going to leave one of our segments white and put our initials in there. And then he puts lots of hearts around the edge. Some of them are being drawn through with the sun rays, and some he does outside of that. So you're going to fill each one with different patterns and different colors, and you can decide if you'll use paint, if you use colored pencils, if you want to use oil pastels, if you want to use chalk pastels. It could be a mixed media, which is where you use more than one kind of material. Like maybe I'll use some felt pens here, but then maybe I'll use some colored pencils and use my watercolor pencils. So you can just do it however you want, whatever makes you happy, so you can be part of the happy art movement. All right? Let's take a look at the book that I told you that I would read. That is, the author is Romero Britto. Now, it's called Happy. Let me sit this way so I can hold the book properly. Now, I've taped this on because when you take the cover off, it's just a yellow background and it doesn't have the title, Happy! And do you notice I don't say happy, because there's an exclamation mark. It's like the letter I standing on his head, and that's what I always tell children. You can remember how you're supposed to read it, because the I isn't supposed to be on his head, so he's going, happy! So excited about being at the end. And here's our artist's name, Romero Britto. And look, on here, he uses a lot of black outline, and here is a cat, and I don't know if that's a fox or a dog, I just don't know. And here are his initials inside the book I'm telling you about, that we're going to do our own initials inside our, sorry boys and girls, let me get myself set, inside our artwork. Happy by Romero Britto. I won't call out what each one is a picture of. You can look at it and see, is it a dancing cat? Is it a dancing person? But we know that they've got love in their heart because it's on the front of them. And here he's put his initials. You can look, you can remember when we used our attentoscope and tried to find the bird in the picture when we were looking at the art in Mrs. McNosh Does Her Wash. This tells a whole bunch about the art, and I'm not going to read it, but I do want you to see. Do you see his initials? Sure enough, and in the background here, lots of pattern. Happy to be here. Happy to see you. Now we know the kind of see that you use your eyes to see is spelled S-E-E. But they spelled this S-E-A. I wonder why. That's the kind of see that means ocean. Do you see why they would spell it that way as a little play on words? It's because there are fish here. Do you see his initials with my attentoscope? Aha! All of them are here. Delighted to meet you. That's another word for happy. Delighted to meet you. Look, and you can see these two people looking at each other. You can see patterns. Does anyone see his initials? I do. Love is in the air. When you hear that saying, love is in the air, that just means when you see someone that acts like they're in love with someone else, you say, ooh, love is in the air. But this is literally hearts flying through the air, and the air is filled with what? His initials. Now, initials mean the first special letter of his first name and the first special letter of his last name. R-B. Happy is cuddling. Here's someone cuddling their cat. Oh, the cat is giving them a lick on their face. Do you see his initials anywhere? Tiny piece right here behind the cat. Tiny piece up in this corner. And it has to go on. There's no period here. There's an ellipsis, which means keep your voice going. Listen to me read it. Happy is cuddling with the one you love. Oh, look, a top hat. Who do we know in history that wore a top hat? That's right, Abraham Lincoln. Oh, I see his initials in a lot of places. Oh, I'm keeping in my mind what kind of patterns I will do later. I think I'll do some polka dots and some stripes. Happy to play and make your day. Play, day. They both say A. With my attentoscope, I see initials, initials, initials. And it isn't always in a white space, but he likes to put a little white space in his art. I'm going to put white in my space. Happily lost in a good book. Can you see the cover of the book? It has the world on it. I wonder if it's a book about the earth. I see initials. Happy to sail away. Do you see the ship? And the ship has windows. We're going to do a new day today, but will you do something like this? Maybe you'll want to do a ship later. Or maybe even today, if you don't want to do the one we do, you can do any of the examples you see. Happy birthday cake. That would be a fun one to put on the front of a card to someone you want to give a card to. My family makes me happy, rain or shine, all of the time. We know it's raining because they have the umbrella there. Wait till you see this one. Happy to give you a great big hug. And this opens up all the way over here and all the way over here. It doesn't even fit in the camera. I have to do this back and forth. That is a huge hug with giant hands. Home sweet. We usually say home sweet home, but it says home sweet happy. Are you getting ideas for your art? Happy in the city. Wonder what they'll say next. Is it going to be somewhere else? And in a new pair of heels. Oh, she's got on her high heels. It's funny how shoes can make people happy. Ready to groove. Another name for dancing is grooving. Oh, I'm going to groove on the dance floor. Oh, those stripes make it look great. I see some polka dots with a different color in the background. Okay, I'm going to remember those for mine, and of course the initials. Happy to move. Look, they're doing yoga. She's stretching one leg out and back and one in front and her arms out to the side and breathing in really deeply. That's how we calm ourselves when we get a little nervous. In through our nose and out through our mouth. Happy in the rink. What is a rink? Do you know what you do there? What is she doing? She has on ice skates. It's a skating rink. It could be an ice rink or a roller rink or on the links. He's golfing and she's got her golf club too. He's getting ready to swing. Happy to be with my best friend. You know how they say dog is man's best friend. I'm happy to say it's creme brulee, which is a custard kind of dessert, and you hold a hot flame over sugar and it melts and makes it into a candy top. Happy to be a princess. Oh, look, the dog is wearing a crown and makes it into a princess. Dancing in the night until you see the light. Night, light. They both say "ite." Oh, look at the background. There are his initials. Romero Britto, RB. Love to be happy. Initials. Patterns. Oh, this is a pattern where they do white flowers on a colored background. Oh, I see like a wave. I might do that. And then it has the story of the artist and someone flying a kite. And that is our book, Happy by Romero Britto. All right, boys and girls, it looks like it's time to do our project. So let's bring the table up on my lap. The frame table. Put this up here. I think we should probably bring down our inspiration. Put it here. Because what we want to do first is to draw the hills and then put the sun and maybe do the rays, and because we want to make sure that we do the great big heart in the middle, because that really is, for me, the emphasis of this. I'm going to put my directions, because I did this at home and tried it out, and I like to see this, what order I would do it in. Okay, bring my white paper. Oh dear, I put it on something and made it wet. Well, we'll see if it works. Maybe I just need to cut that bottom part off, because I think it will make whatever colors we use bleed. So I'm going to cut that part off. Sorry, boys and girls, I should have been careful about where I set this. I have all my materials here from all week long, and I put it on my rag that I wipe my fingers off. I brought all of my art materials. I brought my watercolor pencils, I brought oil pastels, I have the paint from Monday I could use, because I didn't know what you would bring and what you would like to use. I also brought what I thought would make the clearest color, and it's markers. So that might be what we're going to use. I'm going to start off with my hills. So on his work, he has 1, 2, 3 hills. So I think I will do whatever looks good at the bottom of my paper. Using my black permanent marker, I'm going to do 1 hill. And this is the marker that looks like it's trying to be not as bright. This one will. I'll start over and go over the top of that. 1 hill. I'll put another hill coming in from this side. And then I'll do another hill in the middle. And I think I'll put my sun maybe right here. Now I'm going to put my great big giant heart in the middle. 1 C that goes to a point, backward C that goes to a point. And now it's time to do my sun rays. So I'm going to do 1 that goes right up the side of this heart and off the edge of the paper. Let me show you how far I've gotten so far. You can see my hills at the bottom. Here's my sun. Here's one of my sun rays that goes all the way off the edge of the paper. And I'm going to do another sun ray, but I'm going to go to the edge of my heart and stop and go to the edge of the paper. Then I'll do another one that goes straight up here and off the edge of the paper. 1 over here and off the edge of the paper. I probably could put 1 more here above the hills. There we go. You decide how many sun rays you want. He put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe his paper is a little bigger than mine, I don't know. But you can decide now how you want to pattern your hills. And I want my hills to look kind of realistic, so I'm going to use green, and I'm going to do some diagonal stripes. I'm going to do a diagonal stripe here. And notice I'm doing it in a row. When you're coloring, if you put one right next to the other, it kind of makes it brighter and kind of nicer. And I'm making my lines parallel to each other. He put light green and dark green together. I only have a light green pen, but I have dark green pastels. I have dark green color crayons. I have dark green watercolor pencils. So let's see if this, oh, it's almost the same color as that one. That's not going to be helpful. But maybe this dark green watercolor would come in handy. If I use that, bring it over, and use one of my brushes and dip it in the water and get into this darker green. Maybe if I put a little blue in it, it'll make it even darker. Oh, there it goes. You can just decide what colors you want to put next to each other, and it doesn't have to be the way that Britto did or how I am doing it. Maybe you want your grass to be lime green. Maybe that's how you want to do it. That's the great thing about working together on art. We don't have to make it look like each other's. As a matter of fact, I always say to people when they want their children to have a certain place that they want something to go on their paper. I say, but then you could just make a copy machine one for it. And they say, oh, you're right. I'm going to paint my sun so I make it bright and cheery. I know that we won't finish painting this or coloring this today, so you make sure that you just set it aside in a safe place. If the time runs out here, or if your teacher says, oh, time to clean up, then you just think, oh, okay, well, I know that I can always come back to my work, and you don't need to worry about it. I think I'll put some polka dots on this hill. So I'm using my oil pastel, and we know if we use the oil pastels that anytime I paint over it, it will not stick where the oil pastel or crayons are. I like to sometimes make it go off the paper a little bit too. So you decide how you're going to do this, and then just color in all your spaces. And if you forget what Britto's work looked like and you want it to look more like that inspiration, just go back to PBS and look at that, or go to YouTube to find the recording of this. So there it is, my green hill, and I can do I think I will make it kind of a yellow-green hill for it to be. I'm going to put some yellow in my lid so that I can mix up a yellow-green, because mixing it in the place like this is not a good idea, but it's hard for me to clean this off. I'll just clean it at the end. So I'm going to go over this one. Oh, that looks kind of good. It makes it look kind of mossy. A moss green. I'm painting over it, and wherever the oil pastel was, my paint doesn't stick. If you've just decided you're going to do your whole thing using markers, that's fine too. I think I'll just do this one a solid green. I'm doing mine upside down so you can see as I apply the color. I think one of them I'm going to decide to put my initials on, a white space. I think I'll put it in a small space, because even though I like the idea of the initials, I don't think Claudia Reed-Wright's initials are that interesting. Like, he made it curly. I think I'll make mine curly. C-R. Oh, that looks kind of good, because it doesn't really look like a letter. It just looks like a curlicue, but it's a C and an R. And I'll turn my paper a different direction and do my C with a curlicue, and the R going off the top and down to a curlicue. C, curlicue, R, curlicue. C, curlicue, R, curlicue. Because C stands for Claudia, that's my first name. And R stands for Reed-Wright, so I can do that. Boys and girls, tomorrow we're going to do an artist that we have met before. It's Jim Dine. It was when we were doing the 1, 2, 3s of art, and he was 4 hearts. And so you know he does heart art. And if you want to do the art with me, you'll bring paper, you'll bring some kind of styrofoam, a dull pencil, some kind of paint that you'll use. I'm using a brayer. A brayer is a thing that is kind of like a rolling pin that rolls paint over a place and makes sure that it goes on smoothly. You might want to bring brushes. I'm bringing scissors because I plan to cut out a heart, and if you want to glue it to something, you'll bring glue. I'm using a permanent pen, my oil pastels. Just bring all of your coloring tools. Let me see on this one. I think I will cut this part way, and maybe I'll do some heart flowers here. Boys and girls, let's sing our goodbye song to one another. Goodbye, see you next time, everyone. Goodbye, see you next time, everyone. Goodbye to you, goodbye to you, goodbye to you, goodbye to me. Goodbye, see you next time, everyone. See how I'm doing this? I'm even making it go off the edge of the paper. If you decide to send me your artwork, I would love to see it, boys and girls. Thanks a lot for joining me. And I will see you tomorrow when we're going to do some printmaking with Jim Dine. I'm drawing on styrofoam and then printing it, and I'm printing it on a few different sheets of paper. It's going to be great fun. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.